The 1995 film Braveheart is considered by many to be one of the best movies of that decade. It was my first time that I had seen it, and I have to say this is certainly such a great cinematic experience in my opinion. Man, I really do like what this movie represents, which is about freedom, justice, and fighting for what's right. So the story of this one is about a young Scottish warrior named William who leads his fellow countrymen on a rebellion after his wife Monroe is killed by a soldier of King Longshanks' army in order to free England of tyranny. I have to say that I wish I got around to this sooner because boy, I was missing out. Mel Gibson, interesting enough, he initially turned down the role, but after Paramount Pictures said they was going to finance the film, he was on board. And honestly, it was the right decision because I couldn't imagine anyone else playing the role of William. Not only did he do that, but he directed and he was one of the producers. Talk about a dedicated and talented person. And seeing the story of these young men fight for a good cause, it sends a positive message of hope that with a lot of people, they can make a huge difference. Plus, with the strong themes of leadership and sacrifice is a good reason why this is considered one of the best cinema pieces in film history. This movie is so great that it actually was nominated for several Academy Awards, winning 5 of them. Mel Gibson, he did such an amazing job playing William Wallace. This character, he's courageous, his bravado, he's willing to stand up for what's right. So when his wife is killed early on in the film, which is actually kind of sad because not only was that his childhood friend, but they got married in secret and she's taken away from him unfairly. Robert the Bruce, I thought he was an interesting character up to a point where he betrayed William, which I didn't see coming from a mile away. But by the time he realizes his mistake, it's already too late because near the end of the film, William, he willing to sacrifice himself in order to make sure that his men can finish the fight. King Longshanks, I thought he was an interesting villain. He was willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that William didn't succeed in his quest. Ultimately, he fails at the end, but what I really like is that he was determined. Now, his son, Prince Edward, is a coward. He wasn't willing to stand up to William's army. And there's just a lot of characters in this film that are very cool. At the end of the day, this is such an extraordinary film from beginning to end. And just seeing this one man's journey to change things for the better is very inspiring to say the least. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. Even with a nearly 3-hour runtime, I wasn't bored once because this whole thing is just so entertaining. One of the characters that I want to point out is Princess Isabella, telling King Longshanks that his bloodline will end with him because she is pregnant with William's child. Which I thought was interesting because William, he always wanted a family, but he wasn't willing to compromise who he was at the end, refusing to submit. And I really did respect that because even though he sacrifices himself, he was never going to change for what he believed in. The cinematography is great and so are the fight scenes. This is one of the most influential films of all time, is that it is still legendary for just how much of a timeless classic that it is. And that's my review of Braveheart. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying, peace out.